My name is Amanda Kling and I'm a licensed clinical social worker here at CMSU. I'm currently a school-based therapist. Today we're going to talk about how different calming tools can assist our physiological response to stress. We're going to be able to talk about how we can make our own calming bags, or if we are lucky enough to be able to have a calming corner in a room, whether it's our office or school. I'm going to show different types of tools that focus on each of the senses so you're able to incorporate them into your room, corner, or bag. I will have quick ideas for creating your own tools on a budget, and then we'll tour an example of a calming room here at CMSU. The important thing about touch is there's a lot of textures and there's a lot of different ways that feeling things can soothe our senses. There is a sensory mat, especially for younger children, and in fact in daycares a lot of them have these things because so that children can kind of learn to manipulate through a water-like substance. Kinetic sand, there's a certain texture that it's sand-like, but it can mold a lot better. Anything that is squishy, anything that has bright colors. Stuffed animals is important in touch. That's why I tend to do really well with stuffed animals or have a specific comfort stuffed animal. Slime, any kind of, like I said, anything that you can manipulate with your hands. Play-Doh, fun fact, Play-Doh actually copyrights or trademarks their scent. And so the Play-Doh scent actually helps people feel a lot calmer, or just even it puts them in a good spirits because it reminds them of childhood a lot of times. Of course, everybody knows this because this is kind of a big trend. Pop-it tools, they help us to kind of manipulate something, and then on the opposite side they're a lot easier to move. Kind of satisfying. Anything that we can touch and it makes us feel like bubble wrap, things like that, if it makes us feel kind of like satisfied because we complete something, that helps. Just in general, the touch is an important scent for things like, if you think about it in early development, when a child is born, they call it the golden hour. Touching, holding the baby to mom's chest. Touch itself throughout our lifespan can be really helpful and healing. Appropriate touch, a hug from a support person, anything like that, is definitely recommended. But remember, keep in mind that some people have dealt with trauma in their past, and so know who that person is, know what might help them and what might actually harm them. So another thing with touch is any kind of light pressure can actually be really helpful. So anything that puts a light pressure on you, such as a weighted blanket. So this can actually help us to kind of bring our heightened senses down just by having a weighted blanket or anything that can give us some sort of pressure. So it's important to remember that what works for some people as a coping tool or as a calm down tool sometimes does not work for other people, and we're all different. So what might be our favorite thing might not help somebody else, or vice versa. Environment is such a huge factor in our overall mental health, so it's important to make sure that your setting is aesthetically pleasing. Lighting is so important. If you have a place that doesn't have a window, dark, like kind of more ambient lights, as long as it's well lit, that's really helpful. Fluorescent lights sometimes don't help us to feel like we can open up or calm down because it's this harsh lighting. And so sometimes having more dim lights, different types of lighting, things like that, that helps us to feel more comfortable. I have people who will sometimes look at while we're using mindfulness, so we'll use whether it's the 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, or 5 minute hourglass. They will use the hourglass as a part of their mindfulness, so they will kind of just watch the sand go from one end to the other, and it's kind of mesmerizing for them. So taste can also be very regulating, believe it or not, and I'm going to show you some tools that will help us to be able to calm down. So one thing that I like to have in my bag or in my office is mints. Mints are actually really helpful because mints kind of act like, remember when we were a baby and we wanted a binky and a soothie, and so they're kind of soothing and calming, especially peppermint. Peppermint is proven to release endorphins and combat stress hormones such as cortisol, and it also helps with stomach and digestion. So peppermint is the best probably mint flavor that you could have. So scent is actually really significantly tied to memory and emotion. In a study with Boston University, they found there is a link to the hippocampus, which is our part of the brain in charge of memory. The smell of pine can remind you of the holidays, coconut reminding you of the beach, or a specific scent of the person that's important to you. So essential oils actually assist our hypothalamus. Lavender is very calming. You can have them in oils, you can have them blended into a roller ball with a carrier oil. You can use diffusers, air fresheners, room sprays, anything that kind of makes your area feel comforting. They make a whole line of scented, markers and crayons and things like that. Think Mr. Sketch, and lotions as well. So all of these things can be helpful for your bag or toolkit. So there are different types of sounds that can specifically help us to regulate ourselves. In therapy offices, a lot of times you're going to see white noise machines. This is actually from my child's nursery, but I do use it because it has the white noise. And there are actually different frequencies besides white noise. There's like purple, I think it's violet noise. There's different colors, different frequencies. And some people really like certain frequencies, and then some people, it kind of pains their ears. There are different types of chimes too, specifically for calming sounds, like this is a Himalayan singing bowl. And it also comes with certain vibrational feeling. Noise canceling headphones are very helpful for people who, especially if you're feeling overstimulated and dysregulated. Emotions occur in our body, so movement is very helpful for us. Bouncing, playing catch, things like that. These are things that you can do with people or by yourself. So any type of exercise, yoga, martial arts, dance, just simple walking. Having a mini trampoline, if you can have a jump rope in your bag, steppers, small stationary bike for your office, anything where you can maybe do stretches. But you can be creative with it. So just having some sort of interaction with people. These are really great cards. So with these cards, you are able to ask different questions. Any kind of coloring, adult coloring books, there's color by numbers. There's actually this new thing called a reverse coloring book. So you put the black lines around them rather than the coloring in. Any kind of books that help with affirmations, you can get affirmation cards, anything, sketching, journaling. So it's never too early to start assisting your children in calming and regulation, especially, toddlers. So one of these things that I also use with my own children is this actually mixes visual and touch. They're like little poppets, but they're also spinners, and they're geared towards younger children. So my 2-year-old actually has these, but I like them because I'm teaching him emotions. So there's different kinds of emotions. When we get into things that you can make at home, you can actually make puppets with paper bags and things like that too. But being able to, because a lot of times it's hard for especially children to verbalize their emotions, so having a puppet might be able to help them a little bit. So there are a lot of inexpensive tools that you can either make at home or sometimes even have at home. Hammering ice into in a plastic bag, so being able to put ice in a plastic bag and having someone, be able to hammer it. Using a cold or hot compress, a calming shower or bath. Even if you have pots and pans at home, to be able to use that as instrumental. Playing catch, maybe saying a positive affirmation each time whoever's catching, and they're able to say a positive affirmation. That really helps us with a lot of biofeedback, which basically helps us to kind of internalize that information a lot more. Drawing with salt on a cookie sheet. Believe it or not, licking a lemon stimulates your senses and kind of like snaps you out of sometimes when you're really dysregulated. Drinking through a straw, wearing polarized sunglasses. Using a toilet roll or toilet paper roll and putting rice in it and taping it up, and using like a sound machine, like a rain machine. Balloon and flour or rice, so stuffing a balloon with flour or rice can be your own DIY stress ball. Making your own calming jar with water and certain materials and glitter and things like that. You can make your own slime or dough. Even if you have bubble wrap at home. And like I said, with the emotion puppets, you can use paper bag and make your own as well. If you don't have space to be able to incorporate a calming room in your setting or even a calming corner, you can always take a backpack and fill it with portable coping tools, and to be able to have everything in a backpack wherever your setting is.